Hello and welcome to chicken wing dissection. So in this video we're going to go through and dissect a chicken wing down, looking at the muscles, the bones, the tendons, the ligaments, all that good stuff in here. So with this guy, the skin is on the outside here. You can kind of see a little bit how rough and bumpy the skin is. Okay. On this particular chicken wing, there's actually some hairs. So you can see the little hair against the dark forceps here. So some of your chicken wings, you might actually have on them feathers. They all have a little claw on the end of their finger over here. Okay, so this is a wing. This is its shoulder joint. This is going to connect into the shoulder. Notice that it is very shiny here. That's because of the cartilage cap that's on there. So that's going to make it so that when it fits into the shoulder joint, it rotates around very easily versus grinding against the bone. These big chunky things here, these are going to be some of the ligaments that are going to hold the bone into the joint and attach it in place. So the first thing we're going to do here is cut the skin apart and get inside our chicken wing. So this is pretty easy to do. You want to just kind of separate the skin a little bit, and then you're going to give your chicken wing a nice little massage. Okay? So you're going to get down inside carefully and separate the wing, the muscle inside from the skin. Move my scalpel out of the way. Okay, so I'm just rubbing back and forth, which gives them a nice little chicken wing massage. Okay, and you'll notice the skin kind of rips away pretty easily here. Okay, I want to do this in a way that I don't rip up the muscle too badly as well. So I do need to be a little bit gentle, because remember that muscle has a layer of connective tissue on the outside, and that connective tissue is attached to the underside of the skin. So if I'm too rough on this, then I'm going to lose that layer of connective tissue that's sitting on the muscle. Okay. So now this particular guy or girl, whatever it may be. Yes, I know, don't pay attention to the sounds. Okay. This one doesn't seem to have tons and tons of fat in it. We'll come back, and if we can find some fat afterwards, we will. Is there any up in here? Yeah, there's a little bit right up in here. So this yellowy chunky stuff in here, this is some layers of fat, which can be used as an energy source. Okay. So this is essentially the biceps of your chicken. Okay. Now you can see here, right there, this piece here running down the length, this is the tendon that's holding this biceps muscle onto the bone that's down here. Now watch what happens to my chicken wing when I go ahead and contract my chicken wing, my muscle, right? Notice that as a flexor, it's bending the joint up. When I pull on the triceps down below, you can see the joint straightening out a little bit. Okay, so that's your tendon. On this side, there is a big giant ligament that is right here. This ligament runs from here all the way down to here. You can see it running underneath the skin layer here. This ligament is going to hold the bone to a bone down here. So ligaments hold bone to bone, while tendons hold muscle to bone. So you can notice on the outside here, we've got a shiny layer, right? That shiny layer is the connective tissue that I mentioned earlier. And as I start to pull on it, you can actually see it lifting up and away from the muscle a little bit. Okay. The connective tissue wraps the muscle up in a bundle, which helps to protect it and prevent it from ripping. Let's see. This one has a little bit hard to see, but right here, there's a red line running, and that is your blood vessel. And as I push down, you can actually see the blood transporting down the line a little bit. In the live chicken, that blood would be moving because the heart would be pumping it, but right now it's moving through the blood vessel from the force that I'm putting on the muscle or on the blood vessel. The nerves run in parallel next to those blood vessels, so they're really hard to see. You're probably not going to see the individual nerve fibers. So, let's see. The last part of what we want to do is get down inside and look at the bone itself. So to look at the bone itself, I'm going to cut away some of this muscle. So all I'm doing right now is just taking muscles off of the chicken wing bone. This bone would be equivalent to the humerus in a human. Notice, please, that I'm always cutting away from myself. That's the safer way to go ahead and cut. Don't want to cut towards yourself because you slip, you end up cutting yourself. Okay. So now as I pull down, you can actually start to see here the joint between what's the humerus and the radius and ulna. So if I crack this or break it apart, yes, I know cracking sound is not fun. Okay. You can actually see how they slide back and forth over each other. The reason they slide is because of the cartilage cap. If this cartilage cap wasn't here, you'd have grinding of bone on bone. So I'm going to use my handy dandy bone cutters and cut the bone. Okay. Now when I do this, you'll notice inside of the bone, there's a whole lot of red chunky stuff. This red chunky stuff is bone marrow. This is what's going to produce all the red blood cells for the chicken, which is very helpful because the red blood cells are going to carry oxygen around. And when I look at this bone, I notice that it's really thin and it's almost got like a pitted appearance to it. The reason it has that pitted appearance to it is because it's made primarily of spongy bone. Birds have more spongy bone in them in order to make their bones lightweight so that they can actually fly. So at this point, I think I have hit pretty much all of it. So just as a little recap, here's your muscle tissue. This is muscle tissue without having any of the connective tissue on it. The shiny layer right here that you can see, this is your connective tissue. Over on this side, we found the blood vessels running up and down the sides. The fat was the yellow squishy stuff that we saw in various locations. Okay, there's some more fat here. Okay. And then the cartilage cap and the tendons and the ligaments. So hopefully you found this helpful. See you next time.